All right, guys. So this was a fanfiction idea that was voted on over on Patreon, and as you can see, this was the winner: Godzilla versus Captain Planet. Yeah, you never. This actually could happen. Like that's the other. Like it's so crazy now that we live in a world where Godzilla crossovers can happen, and this is no different. So we're basic. Yeah, we could get Dynamite and IDW to do this. Right? We live in a world where IDW and Dynamite Comics could come together to do a Godzilla versus Captain Planet crossover. But anyway, let's get started with the video. So essentially, what's going on is that the Planeteers are essentially summoned by Gaia, who has basically got a new mission for them. She's like, so here's the thing: there's something going on in Japan, and it's drawn my attention. And she's like, and they're like, well, what is it? And they're like, it's Godzilla, and everyone just immediately stops because they know what that means. Godzilla is just absolute force of nature, and Gaia has basically said that like Godzilla's attacking a some kind of like he's attacking the cities and whatnot, and they're like, yeah, we know that's really awful, but like G-force handles that, and how does this, where do we tie in with that? And Gaia explains that there's this new corporation that is trying to clear the toxic air in Japan. And essentially what's going the pollution and reduced pollution in Japan, but for some reason it looks like Godzilla's targeting them specifically. Like Godzilla's going out of his way to attack any of that corporation's buildings or structures or anything under them. And G is just kind of like, that's fucked up. My country. He's attacking my country, and I need. We need to stop him. He's all like G is really like gung ho about taking on Godzilla because Godzilla's like just been the bane of Japan. He has been as long as ever since 1954, Godzilla has like terrorized that city, terrorized that country. Excuse me. And Wheeler and the rest of everyone else in the among the Planeteers are like, yeah, it's really awful. And also G points out that like Godzilla was born from nuclear pollution. Like he was born from a nuclear bomb that irradiated, a mass amount environment. Godzilla is literally the monster they should be fighting and killing. But Quan Yi and Mati brings up the point of he's a living thing. Like Godzilla, he didn't ask to have a nuke dropped on him to be made into this monster. He didn't ask for that, and he's probably in a lot of pain. But G is just like, no, he's like the embodiment of pollution. He's pure, he's just a monster. He's not a real animal. So the Planeteers are already like at each other's throats as they travel to Japan. And sure enough, as they reach, they're talking to this new company. Called H Enterprises, and H Enterprises is essentially like I said, they're trying to like reduce pollution and toxicity in the air, and I basically explained that yeah, we've been under attack by Godzilla for the past few weeks, and we really don't have any. And G-Force has been trying to stop him, but Godzilla's been very gung ho on attacking us, probably because he feeds off the nuclear radiation, and we may be able to cut off his food supply in a matter of years. If we can stop him now, we can starve out Godzilla and kill him. And G's already like, yeah, let's do this. Mati is still like, no, there's got to be a different way. Like Godzilla's got to have a reason for this. And Quan Yi starts to like agree with him. As does Wheeler, who's like, this all feels like really fishy, right? But however, rather than instantly siding with Mati and Quan Yi, he does agree with G that yeah, Godzilla was born from pollution, and the rest of the Planeteers are like, it's a moral quandary. Essentially, they're basically trying to discuss like how to deal with this when suddenly Godzilla rises from the sea and starts making his way to one of the the company's facilities. So of course Kwani is like, let our powers combine, and they summon Captain Planet, and the fight's on. So Godzilla and Captain Planet fight, and immediately Captain Planet is like, "Jeez, this guy." I could throw the entire planet at this guy, and I don't think I could stop him. So as they're fighting, here's the thing: is that as they're fighting, Captain Planet starts to feel like woozy and sick because literally the radiation that's emanating from Godzilla's body is so much it's like poisoning Captain Planet. So the Planeteers have to like call him back. He has to, Captain Planet has to leave. He has to he cannot physically fight Godzilla at this moment because he trying to fight him for too long is gonna make him sick and gonna kill him. But however, during the fight between Captain Planet and Godzilla, Mati actually the company, the facilities were damaged, and Mati takes a moment to try to figure out what's going on. So he and what was her name? Inga, something with an I. So it's the Russian one. I can never remember her name. Fuck. But her and Mati, they start to investigate the H Enterprises destroyed facilities, because Mati is like, Godzilla has to have a reason to attack this facility. He doesn't do this, he's not just some dumb animal, despite whatever G thinks. So they're looking around, and what they discover is they have something. This facility has something deep underneath, and that thing is a sedated Hedorah. Yeah, and on top of that, the owner of H Enterprises appears, and that's Loot and Plunder. And Loot and Plunder has basically created H Enterprises. And he basically says that, yeah, I've been everyone thinks I'm cleaning pollution, when in reality I'm feeding all the pollution to Hedorah and making all the money out of it. I actually like Loot and Plunder. Plunder basically explains that I never knew how much money you could make from trying to heal the world. So I captured Hedorah. I had some friends capture Hedorah, and we've basically been destroying the toxicity in the plant, in the area. And he's like, so thank you, Planeteers. You gave me a reason to to save the world for all the money, and I can charge whatever I please for it. And hey, I've got Hedorah locked up. But the only problem is that big dumb lizard keeps coming in. But hey, you guys are, and they're like, what else are you doing with this? You wouldn't just keep Hedorah sedated and take all the money. You live off of pollution. And he's like, all right, you got me. I made some friends. And they're like, friends? And that's when they get attacked by the allies who helped start up, who helped fund Plunder's scheme, the Exilians. See, there's another reason why Hedorah is being fed all this pollution, so they could make him stronger. So the Exilians were, Plunder was using him to make money, while at the same time the Exilians were feeding Hedorah so they could use him to turn him on Godzilla. And Godzilla almost ruined it, but thankfully the fight with Captain Planet diverted him enough. Meanwhile, so Mati and Mati, they managed to fight their way through and get back and tell the others. But at the same time, G's still like, but we can stop. We can stop Godzilla this time. And Mati. God, I tripped over my words. I'm sorry. Mati basically says Godzilla was trying to save us. That's what he may be born of radiation, but he brings balance like we do, like Captain Planet does. So Godzilla, meanwhile, he rises out of the sea again, and just at that moment, the Exilians wake up Hedorah, who's now been supercharged with all the pollution he's consumed. So Godzilla and the new version of Hedorah, they throw down, and Godzilla is already losing that fight. So they summon Captain Planet again, but Kwani brings up the point, hey, we can't let him get close. I doubt like Hedera's pollution was just walking pollution, and we already know Godzilla, his radiation wounds Captain Planet. So that's when they get the idea to contact G-Force, who proceeds to, they're like, oh, the Planeteers, yeah, we know all about you. And Captain Planet, yeah, we got an idea how you could be protected. So, and this would totally happen in a comic, they literally give Captain Planet the ability to pilot Mechagodzilla. So it is Mechagodzilla 2, just to be clear. And what Captain Planet does is pour all of his his planetary power into Mechagodzilla and creates Mechagodzilla Planetary. So this new variant of Mechagodzilla comes wading in to help Godzilla fight Hedera. Godzilla at first is like going to attack him, but then they both look at Hedera and they're like, let's go. So they proceed to fight Hedera, defeat him, and Hedera's just left a big wound, like he's trying to regenerate himself, until Mechagodzilla and Godzilla, Captain Planet, pours his power through Mechagodzilla, and Godzilla just unleashes an atomic blast. And as he gets blown up, the sludge of Hedera washes over the corporation, and Plunder and the Exilians are left in the toxic sludge, and the Exilians are like, we knew this was a bad idea, and they just bounce, leaving Plunder to get arrested by the Japanese government. At the end of it, G is just kind of like, she finally understands that Godzilla is a living thing, and he brings, he's meant to bring balance to the world like we do. So at the end of it, if this was a comic, you would see Captain Planet and the other Planeteers waving goodbye to Godzilla as he wades his way back into the sea. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much Godzilla versus Captain Planet. This is a fun one to make, and it was kind of off the top of my head, so I want to thank you guys for voting on this one. This was a lot of fun. But other than that, you guys tell me in the comments below what you guys think of it. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.